so much for inviting us today into the Beachbody studio to preview your new workout 80-day obsession.
Yes, thank you guys for coming. Excited to have you.
This is a part of our Live Strong, Stronger Women series. And so we wanted to ask you, what does it mean to you to be stronger?
You know, I think that being strong, especially as a woman, there's so many different things, and it means so many different things to me throughout my day. It's being a strong mom for my son. I'm a single mom. I take care of him on my own. I have family here that helps me, but his dad lives 2 hours away. So sometimes it's just being mentally strong, getting up at 5 a.m., getting his lunch packed, getting his breakfast made, getting my stuff ready to go, getting out the door, getting to set, answering, mentally just staying strong. Sometimes it's about being emotionally strong. Life is really hard, and there are days where you just want to break down, and you need to be emotionally strong for, again, your family, your friends, the people around you, for work. And I think fitness teaches us that. So often the focus on fitness is about the way you look. And that's great, and that's lovely. And we all want to look great and feel great in our clothes. But I love what fitness teaches us about being a strong person on the inside. That when you're in these hard workouts and it's getting tough and you want to give up and your muscles are on fire and you find the strength to push through, that teaches you how to be strong in life when life gets hard. Life is never going to be easy. And people sometimes will say to me when I'm on set, well, stop talking about how hard it is. And I'm like, no, I'm going to tell you that it's hard for me too, because I'm a normal woman. I'm a human being, and I struggle too. And I take what I learn in my workouts, and I take the strength that I get both physically, mentally, and emotionally, and I can apply that to my life so that when I'm up against something hard, I have that inner strength to battle it, to push through it, to work through it. And like I said, to be an inspiration to my son or to the people that watch me, to say, like, it's okay that it's hard. It's not okay to let it beat you down and defeat you.
And you're such a busy woman, leading such a busy life as a mom, as a fitness trainer, star of your own fitness videos. What are ways that you think about balance in life? And are there certain things that you need to prioritize over others? Can you tell us about what it means to you to find balance?
Yeah, I actually have an entire Facebook series on this topic. It's called Life, Happiness, and the Pursuit of Balance. Because there's no such thing. And that's the first thing I say in the very first episode of my show, is that there's no such thing as real balance day to day. What you try to do is find the balance throughout life so that sometimes the scale tips this way and sometimes the scale tips this way. And overall, you hope that maybe they've evened out throughout life. But there are times where work just has to take the focus. When I'm filming for 80 days, it has to be a priority. This is not only my job, but I'm hoping to help make a difference in the world. So it has to be a priority. And unfortunately, other things suffer a little bit. Not much of a social life happens when you need to be on set at 7 a.m. Or I didn't get to take my son to school for 3 months. I got to make him breakfast and kiss him goodbye, but I didn't drive him to school. And that's hard as a mom, and we can beat ourselves up really quickly about that. But I know when the program ends, that's where the balance shifts back over to my family life. And work can take a little bit of a backseat. I don't need to be on social media quite as much. I don't have to be on the set right away. I can wait to get my workout until my son is at school. So the balance shifts over here, over to my son and my family. And it's about trying to constantly keep them doing this instead of thinking that unless they're right here, you're failing. Because it's next to impossible to just always make them level out and have complete balance. Both, I spent 8 hours with my family, and I spent 8 hours on work, and I got 8 hours of sleep. Like, it just doesn't happen that way. So you just prioritize and you keep yourself organized over time. And if you find that you've shifted too far in one direction for too long, you sit down and you reprioritize, and then you shift it back in the other direction. But that's how it works for me. That's the best way that I have found to not punish myself and think that, oh, I put so much prioritization over here that I'm a horrible mom. Or, oh, I've put all my time into my son, I've let my boss down. I find it in both sides.
And now we have a lot of people at Livestrong that are trying to get fitter. What would you tell a person who is just starting on their fitness journey? What advice would you give them?
First and foremost is to not compare yourself to anybody else and where they're at in their journey. It's so easy these days, especially with social media. You scroll through, you see all these super fit people, and it's not even a true accurate statement. You know, you do a photo shoot and you put on 17 different outfits on the one day that you're super duper shredded and you went through this nutrition and diet and whatever to get to that exact point. And people use those photos to post throughout the year. And so people that are following them are looking at it and thinking that's how I'm supposed to look from day one. And it's not. It's day one. So you take it as that. You take it that day one is going to be a struggle. And day two is going to be just a little bit better. And day three, you work a little bit more. And that it is about progress and it's not about perfection. And that you have to start slow. Because if you try to jump into something extreme, chances are it's not going to stick. Right now, we're seeing a lot of fad diets happening. It drives me insane because it's not real. It doesn't mean it won't get you a quick fix, but that's what it is. It's a quick fix when you do these diets, when you extremely limit yourself or restrict or remove food groups. And then people yo-yo and it gets frustrating and it plays on their mind. If you eat clean food, real food, healthy food, you watch your portion sizes, you drink water, you move your body, that's where you start. It's really that simple. Like, get up and go for a walk. Make sure you drink more water throughout the day. Eat some vegetables. Don't worry about the number on the scale. People obsess about the number on the scale and they give up on themselves before that number even has a chance to change. They weigh themselves on day one and it says one number, and on day two, they eat, a salad for one day and they expect the scale to move 5 pounds, and that's not how it works. So if you take the focus off of just the external and you really look at it, at fitness as an internal shift. Putting water in my body is good for my cells. It helps them function more. It makes my skin look nicer, makes my eyes brighter. Eating vegetables is good for me, keeps things moving, keeps things flowing. It helps my muscles. Same thing with your protein and your carbohydrates and all that stuff. If you really think about what you're putting in and how it actually nourishes your body or hinders your body, I feel like it's a lot easier to make the mental shift over to doing it. Is sitting on the couch going to get me one step closer to my goal? No. If I just go outside and take a little walk, will that? Yes. Starting with a basic program like a 21-day fix, if you have no clue what you're doing, there are things out there that help. There are programs out there that do have the science behind it to really help somebody step their way in, like 21-day fix, where I combined the nutrition and I combined the fitness, and they are just 30-minute workouts, and there is a modifier, and I walk you through the nutrition step by step. So there's always a way to get started. You have to start here first, though. You have to make the decision to try.
That makes sense, and I'm glad you mentioned the food and also how you do the portioning with 21-day fix. So food, we know, is a very important aspect because, as they say, abs are made in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So what are your recommended foods that you think? You mentioned veggies, which was great to hear, but what's, a great go-to breakfast for people that are just getting started?
One of my favorite go-to breakfasts was always eggs. So I would do 2 eggs, and then I would do a different vegetable on the side, depending on the day. Sometimes I would do asparagus or some sauteed mushrooms. In the fall, I love to do like a butternut or an acorn squash. And I do oatmeal. I'm not allowed to have eggs anymore. I found out I'm allergic to them. Wah, wah. But
what do you do now? What's your...
Thank goodness I have a healthy cooking show, and my brother teaches me amazing recipes. He actually taught me a ground turkey recipe that he flavors to taste like breakfast sausage. So instead of it being, wrapped in a case and not so good for you, it's just ground turkey, and I flavor that up to taste like breakfast sausage. So that's a big one that I eat now as my lean protein in the morning. And it's, like I said, usually oatmeal with it, and I can flavor my oatmeal a million different ways. Sometimes I'll do a teaspoon of sun butter in there, maybe some banana or strawberries. If you put strawberries, it kind of tastes like peanut butter and jelly. Sometimes I'll put the oatmeal inside the acorn squash, sprinkle a little cinnamon and a little maple syrup. So there's I love breakfast. It's my favorite meal of the day, but it doesn't have to be hard. That's the cool thing. And if you meal prep, like if you cook your oatmeal ahead of time or you bake off your acorn squash ahead of time, you just sort of throw it all together, warm it up, and you're good to go.
That acorn squash and oatmeal sounds delicious.
It's amazing.
And I like how you talked about food prep, because everyone always says they're too busy for healthy food, but you've just proven if you do it ahead of time on the weekend, you can just heat it up in the microwave really quick or somewhere. Now, what about go-to snacks? Because when people are so busy and on the go, they probably end up sometimes eating junk food because it's the easiest thing. What are some of your go-to snacks that you can take on the go with you?
I keep it really simple. Again, I'm not a big fan of processed food. I do like to cook, and anybody that says there's not enough time, I promise you guys, if you saw my schedule, you would realize if it's really important to you, you will just make time to cook what you need to cook. So I do a lot of meal prepping on Sundays. I will sometimes make, I have these blueberry almond muffins that I make, so they're made with almond meal instead of just white flour and things like that. So I'll make either muffins, or I will pack, there's a chewy granola bar that I make from my Fix8 cooking show as well. So on a Sunday, I might cook off 2 or 3 of those different snacks. But then I have things like fruit. That's the easiest one, right? Apples, bananas, grapes, anything that's not messy. I don't tend to bring an orange or something like that, but fruit is very easy. Vegetables are super easy. I don't cut my vegetables up ahead of time, because once you start cutting them, the air and the oxygen will start to deplete them of their nutrients, and eventually they slowly start to rot. So instead, I just take them with me. So maybe whole carrots I'll take with me. People laugh at me because I'll eat a bell pepper like an apple. But it's the same. I'm like, what's the difference if I slice it up or if I bite into it? But at least I haven't cut it and started to lose my nutrients that way. So I'll take those with me. Celery sticks I'll take with me. Nuts I take, but I make sure they're unsalted. So roasted, like cashews, roasted almonds, walnuts, things like that are just very easy. I love seaweed snacks. So instead of chips, I'll do the seaweed snacks that have just a little bit of sea salt on them. There's a million healthy choices out there if you're just willing to take time. A lot of times we don't want to give up our junk food. And so we use the excuse that we're too busy so that we can have it. But there's so many other options out there that you can turn to if you really want it.
Can you tell us about a self-care ritual that's super important to you, or maybe something that's your obsession lately?
Yeah, I have a whole thing because it's actually woven into the entire 80-Day Obsession program. I talk about it constantly in the workouts. I talk about it after the workouts, especially when you're beating your body up to really see a change. You have to take care of it. We are this fast-paced society that likes to beat ourselves down, but not build ourselves back up. So the biggest thing is getting enough water. I always have water with me. I never leave the house without it, never get in the car, nothing, always have water on me. I'm very big on at least 8 hours of sleep. I know people can function on less, but sleep is where all the beauty happens. Everybody thinks that the magic of exercise happens in the workout. It doesn't. In the workout, you break your body down. You tear your muscles on microscopic levels. It needs a chance to repair. The repair process happens when you're asleep. So if you don't go to sleep and give your body a time to sort of shut down so it can do all the repair work, the results aren't going to be what you need them to be. Soreness happens, so getting massages, I know we can't afford them all the time, but maybe at least one a month. And if you can't, foam rolling, I'm a big fan. I foam roll every single day before we start working out. Make sure your muscles are loose, make sure you're knotted up. A tight, knotted muscle is not a strong muscle. So it does, like I said, you don't have to go to a masseuse. You can foam roll yourself. Buy a foam roller, they're not very expensive. Epsom salt baths, I take one almost every single night, especially when I'm working out really hard. They help with soreness. But even in addition to helping with soreness, they're just relaxing. It's a chance to decompress, to let your body unwind. I do like to use essential oils in my Epsom salt baths too, so I'll use like lavender a little bit in there. Just again, it relaxes me. So those are my major things, is getting enough sleep, getting enough water, making sure it's either a massage or foam rolling. Foam rolling every day. I actually do massage once a week. And then taking my baths to make sure that I'm just decompressing at the end of the day. There's so many more things that you can do to love on yourself a little bit, but those are my big ones. Those are like my go-to, do it all the time. And I can tell you, 80 days of filming, I was around sick people constantly, like to the point where I definitely should have gone down.
And you didn't get sick?
Not once.
That's fantastic.
Not even a little bit. Traveled during it, traveled to Vegas, back, still filming, and knock on wood, still going strong. So if you take care of yourself, if you take care of your body will take care of you.
Can you tell us, Autumn, what is your guilty pleasure or cheat meal?
Pizza and wine. My dad owned a pizza place growing up. I grew up on it. So yeah, when I do get to have it, I enjoy it.
Cool. Well, can you tell us, for a final question, when and where we can find the 80-Day Obsession? Because I'm sure everybody just can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, 80-Day Obsession is going to be available exclusively on Beachbody On Demand. That's our streaming website. So you can sign up through it through Beachbody. You can find it through my website to sign up for it. But it'll be available January 13th.
Great. All right. Well, we're all really excited. Autumn, thank you so much for talking.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for coming by.
Absolutely.